Welcome back to Fishing and Hunting Texas with your host, three-time FLW Angler of the Year, Clark Wendlandt.
You know, when I'm fishing in February, I call that the pre-spawn in Texas. What I really look for is, you know, I'm looking for places that fish are gonna move up, usually onto flats, and actually spend time feeding. And they're active, they're aggressive, and they'll bite baits that are moving. And so a couple of baits that I really like this time of year is just a standard spinnerbait. This is a Strike King Pro Model spinnerbait. You know, this bait can get a lot of bites. It's easy to fish around cover. You can fish it through anything. It's almost totally weedless, and it's a big fish catcher. It's one of those baits that'll always get you a big bite. And then another bait I love to fish this time of year is a Strike King KVD 1.5. Now, a 1.5 is a bait to me that you can cover some water with, and it's a moving bait. It'll go right over the top of grass. You can fish it on rocks. You can fish it around laydowns. It's really weedless. It's just a bait that'll get a lot of good bites. You know, when this bait travels through the water, it'll go through the water and it'll basically kind of move. It's not just a perfect straight line. It'll move back and forth a little bit. That's what generates those good strikes. Right before the fish go on the beds, these are great baits to catch good fish. Just right out in the middle. This fish right here. Oh, get in here, dude. All right. That's cool. Good fish. I changed crankbaits. This is a Strike King 3XD, and I just like this bait because it gets deep quick. And when you're fishing, sometimes this time of year, you want a bait that'll dive fast. That's a nice one right there. That's awesome, man. I just love figuring them out. And you know, when you look at those fish, you can tell this lake is one of those lakes that's pretty healthy. I mean, the fish are fat, and they should be fat this time of year. If you get on a lake, the fish are skinny, it may not be that healthy lake. We're just fishing open water right here. Strike King 3XD, let's see if we can get another one. So we're sitting up here and we started catching fish, and all of a sudden you hear this little bit of a roar. And the roar that we started hearing, we didn't even know what it was, and all of a sudden the dam started letting out some water. And so we're down here and our fishery's totally changed. You know, we're sitting here, the water's moving as fast as it can move, and now we got to kind of refigure out where these fish are at, which is just as fun. So let's see if we can do it. Guadalupe bass right there. I'm gonna show you, I always love catching Guadalupes. And you don't see them all that often. It looks a little bit like a smallmouth, and this one's pretty poor, but that's not a bad one right there. They're marked up like a smallmouth, kind of brown, but kind of have spotted bass spots. That's Guadalupe bass right there. That's cool right there. I love catching different fish, and you know, on the Highland Lakes chain, there's a lot of Guadalupe bass, and they don't get real big. You know, the state record's only high threes, maybe right at 4 pounds, but they're fun to catch. There's one. Woo, that's a big one. Look at the size of this brute. They started pulling water, and Oh, he choked it. Get out of there. Ah, look at that one. Oh, that's a good one. Look how deep he had that plug. I want to show you. And that's how you want to see him eat a crankbait right there. Deep down in the gut. And it's easy to unhook them too. You just give it just a little bit of slack and it comes right out. That is a giant right there now. Look at that fish. 6-pound. They turned on the dam, and you know, we're sitting out here, we're catching fish, everything's good. And all of a sudden they turn on this water and we hadn't caught anything for about 30 minutes, and then caught a Guadalupe and bam, 6-pounder. That's awesome. That's a brute right there. That is too much fun. I mean, we're just sitting out here kind of on a big flat. There's boulders and rocks everywhere. Actually changed crankbaits right there. I threw it, that's a KVD 1.5 and kind of a shad pattern, and all I could think is, let's do it again.